Hello! So I am going to be recording just a quick hello from my webcam. So apologies, quality, lighting, etc. all not great, but it shouldn't be a long burbling one, he says, burbling. The idea I've had in my head recently is that my obsession with knitting, whilst not going away, has been supplemented with other geeky obsessions. And, well, to be honest, I think a lot of knitters are geeks. And certainly a lot of knitters that do things like watch podcasts are probably geeks. A lot of people that I've met through the podcast have proven to be geeks. And I call myself DancingGeek, so you know there's kind of a geeky sense to everything going on. And I just am thinking about allowing myself to have more geekiness in my little recordings other than just knitting. That may or may not be of interest to you, which is fine. And I suppose just doing this little preamble to kind of say, if you're only interested in knitting, then you can ignore the rest and we'll just see what happens. Yeah? Cool. So, on with the podcast as normal. I start with some stash love, and because I've had Christmas, I did get some stash. So, the first thing I have to show you guys is this beautiful bump. Oh yeah, you can see it there. There we go. So this is from Willow Fibres. In fact, let's just pop it open because it's always nice to see things out of the bag, isn't it? Not too crinkly either. So it's Willow Fibres. I don't know. No, that's not gonna. Okay, dodgy lighting. You can't see a thing from that. Okay. I probably look really awful as well. Literally, it's just a lamp in front of me. I've not done anything fancy. So Willow without the W on the end. So WILLO Fibres. And their shop is on Folksy, and it's Willow Fibre. It's British, so it's the British spelling, FIBRE. And they're based up in Middlesbrough, apparently, which is kind of cool. And they do lots of fibre, clearly. And this is what it looks like. Ooh, wrong way, James. There we go. Out of the bag. That's a bit nicer to look at, isn't it? There we go. So it's kind of in two main colours with some crossover. There's like, it's kind of a reddy orange. The colours are not showing up well on my screen when I'm looking at it here, but this is much more of a reddy orange, and the dark blue is kind of a dark purpley blue, not quite so grey there, but still really good fun. My other half got me that. Actually, he managed to do that whilst I sort of dragged him out to Bakewell for the wool gathering, and he and a couple of our friends came, and we kind of so one of our friends. She is into knitting and what have you, so she wanted to see the wool gathering, and so she and I kind of brought our partners with us, but then we went and did lunch and stuff together and a bit of shopping and what have you elsewhere in the town and so on, as well as going around the wool gathering. But whilst I was pootling around and rummaging through people's stalls and stuff, my other half had secretly nipped off and bought me some presents. So as well as the fibre, from the same stall, he went and got me a gorgeous yarn bowl. And again, it's a bit super shiny in this light, so my apologies. But can I? No, that's too close to the light source. Maybe back here is going to be better. Yeah, there we go. So you can see. This may remind you of my yarn bowl with the little sheepies on it, and that's because, yes, it's come from the same manufacturer. I got that from Willow Fibres at a different show, and this one came off the same stall. Completely different paint job though, and this has got these beautiful streaks of colour running around the outside and then on the inside as well. It's just gorgeous stripy colours with a nice plain base. Again, because it's a pottery base, I'll probably stick some little felt stickers on the bottom, which will stop it from scratching tables and stuff when I use it. But it's really nice, varnished in all the gaps and everything, so hopefully yarn shouldn't catch. And yeah, I got a second yarn bowl, so that was really nice. And they were my they were both from my other half. I did get a couple of other bits and pieces. One of my friends got me some awesome stitch markers. Can I lay these out a bit so they'll be a bit more easy to see? We'll see how this shows. So again, how can I do this without it? Yeah, that's not too bad without it glaring out. There we go. So hopefully you can kind of see some of the stitch markers there. The logo here by my pinky might give it away. They're all cats. They're all cats. Let's see if I can get in a bit closer. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so they're all kitty cats. And there's quite a few of them there. There's quite a few stitch markers there, actually. So they're really cool, different colours. There's one that kind of looks a bit like Stitchy, but there's not one that looks a bit like Rory. But that's okay. But that was my friend. So these came from Crafty Cat Knitty Bits Etsy shop. I don't know if I can get the... Yeah, there we go. So there's the shop details and everything. Crafty Cat Knitty Bits. If you're interested in checking those out at all. And then... Oh gosh, this is where I do that whole I can't remember where I got something from. I just stuck it in my little pile. It's come in a little bag. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Well, there we go. I can't remember. So I just happen to have 3 random new stitch markers to show you guys. They're teeny tiny, but there we go. So there's like a bead, couple of bead ones. It's not focusing very well on my hand there, is it? Pop back a bit. And a little flower one kind of thing there. It's just, there we go. Still not much better, but anyway. So really pretty, and they should go in my little stitch marker collection. And I just wish I could remember where I got those from. Because I think I showed you guys the ones I got from the Countess Ablaze Saturnalia party, didn't I? I think I did. So then finally, I actually have a book which my sister got me. Again, okay, tilt it down. Felted knit amigurumi. So yes, these are amigurumi which you knit and then felt, which is kind of just bizarre. So there's a puppy, a ragdoll kitten, a goldfish, an albino bunny, a ferret, guinea pig, cactus, robot, sock monkey, topiary, stand mixer, apple, chocolate chip cookie, orange soda, cake slice, and ice cream sundae. I want to know what a stand mixer is. Which page is that on? 74 to 79. Oh, okay. It's a mixer. Like that. There we go. You can just trying to show it to you without the light glaring off it. Yeah, so it's a mixer. It's a kitchen mixer. How random. So yeah, I've not done anything like this before. I can imagine maybe making this as a gift or something, a little cactus. How cute is that? There's the other ones on the front there, so the bunny rabbit and the kitten, and I don't know what I must have said, an apple or something down here. And what's that? Oh, it is. It's a little puppy. I guess that's the ice cream sundae, which is disturbing because it kind of just looks like a face. It's pink with brown chocolate sauce, but it kind of looks like just somebody's head with cream and a cherry on top. I'm just going to eat this head. Nom 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 nom. That's not freaky, but they are incredibly cute. So it's kind of a cute sort of random. It's not something I would have got myself. Let's put it that way. But I may at some point play around with that, you know. it's in the queue, but the queue is very long. So yeah, but that's everything that I've got Christmas-wise. So Happy New Year, guys! Merry Christmas, etc. Because I'm not recording this till like the 13th of Jan, I forget that all of that's kind of happened. Really, the world has got back into normal mode now. So whips and foes, I kind of just skipped because although I've done a teeny amount of knitting, there's nothing really to show you guys. Basically, and this will segue into community. The only knitting I've done was on a VKN. That the amazing Flo convinced me that I should do. Well, the convincing wasn't very difficult. It was more the getting me to actually sit down and pick a day and a time and everything. And so because we used to VKN on a Friday evening, I've just gone with that. So I enjoyed it intensely, and I did give it a shout out on Instagram, but obviously I didn't do it on a podcast because it got organised between the last one and now. So I'm telling you now that I generally have this intention to VKN on a Friday evening, British time obviously, so it'd be from 9 o'clock in the evening on Fridays. And that's GMT, so you just have to use some kind of time converter. If you have a look in the Ravelry group, and I posted a thread in there as well about the VKN, one of the things I linked to in the initial post was a website where it'll convert the time for you. So you click on it and it checks your location, probably from your IP address and what have you, but if you can always change it if you need to, if it picks it up wrong. And then it just tells you what the time is in your local area when it's 9 o'clock on a Friday here. So you can decide whether or not you can come and say hi and join in. I will confirm on somewhere in the Ravelry group, either with a news thread or I'll edit that thread or something. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. And on Instagram probably. But yeah, plan is Friday, 9 o'clock. Generally VKNing. I completely got flummoxed by a sock because I tried to start knitting a toe and I was like, I don't think I have the right number of stitches, so I need to go back and count my stitches and see what I've done. I think I've somehow added a stitch. That or trying to talk whilst starting a toe on a sock is too taxing for me. So I went and knit some more of the flap of my bag, which is pretty much close to getting done. But then I just have to do things like seaming it and then lining it, which just aren't as interesting. Or I could spend ages knitting an I-cord for it. Although that might be good VKN knitting because it's kind of mindless. But yeah, so that's the plan from that point of view. So the only other thing is I have the last of my questions from Topher. Because he did send me an extra one. I finished the 10 questions that were apparently from some kind of TV program in America. And he'd sent me another one since then that was, what do you feel most proud of? Oh. Now this one's tricky. Because I don't tend to allow myself to feel proud of stuff. It's not a conscious thing. It's just when when I read that question and go, what do I feel most proud of? I'm like, I don't think I generally do the whole kind of feeling proud thing. Unfortunately, I have that tendency that most people have to remember negative things and kind of forget the positive things. And I'm starting to realise that I need to make more of an effort to actually record and remember the positive things. So what do I feel most proud of? Well, what do I feel proud of at all? Side note, as my brain works on that, I go to therapy. Obviously, I've mentioned this before, and I also go to group therapy. And one of the things that sometimes happens in group is our therapist will ask us to come up with something that we're proud of, what have you. This would be kind of question that you get in therapy, is like, tell us something that you are proud of about yourself. So it needs to be something that's about you as a person, as opposed to just oh, I managed to save some money this month, or I bought someone a really nice present. It's like, you know, they're about other people, so it's not about you as a person. So it'd be something more like, I really, I'm really proud of the fact that I am dedicated to something, or it's the kind of thing that stumps us all. It stumps people. It's like, what are you most, anything you're proud of, just something you're proud of that isn't like, you know, sort of trivial or non-personal. So I guess it would need to be something like, I've still been looking after myself. So over Christmas, Christmas traditionally has been a time of year, well, traditionally the last few years, since losing my parents and what have you. I mean, Christmas was never great. Sort of from about the age of 11 up, Christmas was never really fun. I mean, presents were great, but Christmas as a holiday and what have you was never great. Not particularly good at it in our family. And then mum and dad passing away, so Christmas became this kind of weird, triggering, depressing time of year for me. So I've been making efforts over the last couple of years to counteract that, to work through that with my therapist, clearly. And yeah, this holiday I looked after myself fairly well. I managed to plan in stuff so that I had good things happening sort of over the course of the holidays. I did have a few days here and there where I wasn't doing anything, and that kind of was pretty rough. That's the worst part, is when there's just nothing happening. But I feel like I can't just disappear into something because I'm trying to be available and festive for my partner, and I'm trying to not just treat it like everyday normal kind of thing. So it's like nowadays, if I don't have anything going on, I'll just bury myself in something, whilst my other half's at work, and I'll get on with something, chores or whatever. But all of that gets disrupted over Christmas, and that leaves me very kind of like I'm just free falling, and that's not good for me. But mostly I managed to kind of keep some semblance of structure in place, and to stop myself from spiraling off too badly. I kept myself in a sort of reasonably stable, good place. And that is something that I'm pretty proud of. Yeah, I am proud of myself for doing that. Most proud of is really tricky, because I think there's lots of different things that you can be proud of. I can be proud of my accomplishments academically, creatively, and it's kind of, I suppose, a kind of question that comes to my mind is, well, is there anything that was particularly meaningful for me? But again, that's you know, in terms of what other people might say as a follow-up question, I'm kind of thinking, well, I don't know. I struggle with meaning. I don't always understand what meaning I find in something. So yeah, it's kind of a tricky one. This is oddly enough, this question has prompted a lot of kind of introspective burbling. It's not a straightforward question for me at all. And I don't know, maybe for you guys it wouldn't be either. I think I can well imagine that what are you most proud of is actually quite a unusual question. It's not something we tend to get asked a lot, which is, you know, well, it's an interesting question to answer on the podcast. So thank you, Topher. But I think I will just leave my ramblings there and let them, you know, ... let it trail off as to what that means. But thank you very much. That does mean I'm out of questions though, so if anyone wants to randomly post some questions for the future in the Ravelry group, you're more than welcome. And if you're not a Ravelry person, then in the comments in YouTube is absolutely fine as well. So that is kind of all of my knitting stuff, and that's in about 20 minutes, which is incredibly quick for me. So I do want to take a little bit of time to talk about something else that I have been nerding out over massively since just after Christmas. So it's only been about 2 weeks, but it feels like much longer. And I think I may have mentioned on here, I can't remember, that I started playing Dungeons and Dragons a few months ago with some friends over in Nottingham. And then after Christmas, during one of these periods where I had nothing much on, I decided, oh well, I wonder if there's any interesting D&D games on YouTube, because people often record themselves playing various games, and then people can watch, and it's a way to get an idea of what's involved, so you can learn about the game, you can see how other people play a game. Sorry, my eye is irritating me. And you can also watch it for entertainment. I did see a comic online where somebody was being mocked for watching games online, and then the person that was mocking went and watched like football on the telly, and it, you know, the person's kind of expression was, yeah, like it's not different. It's just you like watching sport and I like watching nerdy things. And there is a really strong similarity. So there's a Twitch channel called Geek and Sundry, and it's run by Felicia Day, and has all kinds of things on it. And one of the programs on there is called Critical Role, and I have become obsessed with this show. It is a group of 9 voice actors. One of them is a DM, and then there's 8 characters, which is a really large party, but because they're all professional voice actors with jobs, they don't always manage to make it. So sometimes you've got 6 or 7 people there, but sometimes you do have 8. And it's a bit of a challenge. I think a party of 8 sort of just sitting around a table at home would be quite slow. And the backstory is that they used to all play together for a couple of years before they got invited to do a show, and they used to do sort of all-day sessions. And obviously I think that would be a much more relaxed, slow kind of social affair. They've made it into a much more fast-paced show, but you've got all these people who are professional actors, and they're doing the voices, and they're telling the story, and they're creating it. So it really is kind of taking it up a level in terms of D&D. And what's great is that they've inspired loads of people, myself included, to really take their own D&D to another level, or to get into D&D, or to start a game of D&D with their friends and so on. And so the Matt Mercer, who's the guy that DMs for this group, has massively inspired me. And so I'm going to start DMing a little game locally, hopefully. So the end of this month, I'm going to be getting some friends round to my house, and I'm going to have a go at running a D&D game for them, which I'm kind of both excited and nervous about. But yeah, watching Critical Role, I realised actually I really, really like D&D. I get a lot out of it, both playing it, and that's made me really commit to the game that I'm already playing with my friends in Nottingham, and wanting to run it. So I've gone ahead and set that up, which I never thought I would have done that, really. I always thought, oh, you know, I probably could, but I never would, and it just kind of has really given me all this energy to do it. And then to actually kind of embrace my geekiness some more. Hand on heart, I have to admit, and this is confession time, despite identifying as a geek, I have a very prejudiced view of geeks, and it really sucks. And part of this is just because I'm a shut-in, and so I don't actually go meet real people. So my impressions of a lot of people are based on television, which is just awful. And so I still have this mental image of what a geek is from TV, which, talk about needing therapy. You know, this is my own self-image, and I got it from TV. Just, you know, not healthy. And so it's been massively, massively positive to see outgoing, interesting, creative, camera-friendly, camera-ready actors who are extrovert and happy to talk and fluent and all of this stuff. Really just letting their geek flag fly, and really, I mean, really, they're like absolutely just nerding out over everything. And these guys are weeping real tears. They are losing their tempers. They just embody their characters so much. Um, that I get drawn into that way more than I do into most TV programs, because they're bringing their acting skills, but you know that it's them as people, and they just use their skills to really heighten it. So, oh, amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. And their sessions run about 3 hours, and their videos can run up to 4 or 5, depending on if they're doing extra stuff afterwards. But sort of 3.5 hours is a bit more reasonable for their episodes, because they'll then do things like reading out messages and responding to people. Because it's a Twitch channel, it has a live chat stream whilst they're playing it. It's all live, broadcast live, and people can respond, and then there's a community that's built up around it. So there's and I'm just starting to kind of find people through this community, and I'm hoping to force myself to push myself out there a bit more. I am such a shut-in nerdy geek that the internet is my way of meeting people, and so here we go. You know, I should just look at my little picture and go, James, that's what a geek looks like. It's not, but to be honest, that's not a good thing for me to do. I need other people to look up to, because I'm not going to look up to myself. But yeah, so I'm trying to embrace my geekiness and just kind of go, it's okay, I'm allowed to be a massive nerd, and that's fine, because I still struggle with that. I still massively struggle with that. And my knitting audience, my knitting friends, the knitting community has been amazing to help me really feel accepted as part of that. And it's really just wanting to, sorry, it's just a snag on my jumper. Wanting to kind of keep going with that and really let my geeky knitting side out. And that's not about fandom necessarily with knitting. Like, it's geeky knitting often it kind of inspires in my head this idea of like knits with stormtrooper masks on them, or logos and Game of Thrones and all this kind of thing. And it's not so much that, it's kind of more my nerd side, really. And with D&D, that kind of combines the two, because the geeky side is about kind of just, I love the game, and I want to talk about the game, and I want to play the game, and I want to watch other people play the game, and I want to hear other people talk about the game. But also my nerdy side is because it has the potential to have very complex rules. Now, you can do it with very basic rules as well, and there's other RPG games which I think have intrinsically built in more basic rules. There's another program on Geek and Sundry, Ashes of Vicaria, I think it's called. It's another role-playing game, and Will Wheaton is the DM, and one of the actors from Critical Role also plays one of the characters in this. But it's all done as it's all tabletop RPG, so it's dice rolls and what have you. But it's a bit more simple. D&D has lots of different dice and what have you, whereas Ashes of Vicaria seems to be based off of a new fantasy RPG that's been developed called Age. I can't remember what it stands for, but it was the basis behind the Dragon Age RPG, which also I want to play. And there's several of them that I want to play. The Firefly one, and what's it called? The one with the wizard who fights vampires, and it says it's based off a massive series of books. and the books are a bit misogynist sometimes and creepy, but otherwise they're good. So it's kind of that love it, but have to acknowledge the really big problems with it. I can't remember what it's called. There was a movie. Maybe someone can tell me. I can't remember. But anyway, there's an RPG for that. There's Fae in it, and there's Queen Mab, and there's vampires, and there's different kinds of vampires. Some that like feed off of your psychic or your lust energy or something. So they're a bit like succubi, and they can enthrall you. And anyway, I really liked the books. My friend got me into it, and because I like sharing things like that with my friends, I got into it as well and stuff. And he wants to run an RPG for that. And I'm, yes, just every day. I would play RPGs every day. I think they're fantastic, and they are brilliant for having a game that's massively social, like board games and what have you. Are really good for this as well. And really, for me, anything that gets me interacting with people in real life is a good idea. So there's that. But my nerdy side can pore over stats and how the dice work and the maths of it, and all the minutiae, the rules, and what all these different things are. And I've sat and I've gone, is this technically considered an ability score, or is it a separate role? And would this rule affect this? And how does that work? And so my nerd is happy, my geek is happy, because there's this whole kind of community and world that I can get involved in. And it gets me socializing with people, so it's fantastic. And so I've got my D&D books here with me just to show you. And can you see you see all my little post-it markers and what have you. So if D&D, you do not need these three to play D&D. Only if you're a complete geek like me, and you might want to have them. If you're interested in D&D, it's actually a lot easier to get into than you might think. And you can download free rules to get started and what have you. You might want to find a DM that's done it before, or you can just go and check out resources online. There's loads of stuff for people wanting to get into it and to get started and what have you, and what that involves and so on. So yeah, and I just I can remember when I first started recording the podcast for knitting, and how cool it was to start just talking about this stuff. And I'm having that same feeling now with talking to you guys about D&D. So apologies if it's really not interesting to you. And well, at the same time, because I do have my rule of no apologies podcasting, but I have kind of just subtly whipped this into the podcast. I am going to continue to geek out in my various ways, and I think I'm going to bring them all to whatever I manage to pop up on YouTube. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And if you're not interested, then that's fine. I have other people's podcasts have changed, and I've stopped watching them because of that and stuff, and that may happen, and I don't know what's gonna be a result of this. But that's probably a good place to stop. I've hit the 35-minute mark, or just about to, so I will say goodbye, and big love to you all as always, and thanks for letting me nerd out, guys, and geek out, because it's actually really special, and it means a lot. So until next time, cheers for now. Bye.